Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to Hate Watch The Bachelorette with me. This episode, I was so disappointed in this episode that I don't even think I wrote any jokes. You know what it is? It's not their fault, it's my fault. I just want something better. I've fallen out of the fantasy of this, and I've never really been in it, but I've fallen out of it, and I don't care about anything that's going on because I'm not invested in Becca. You know what? I'm just not invested in this Bachelorette, and there's nothing that can be done about it. I don't know that I will like any of the other episodes. Without the guys there to buffer and have antics and be crazy, all I can do is talk about her. And I don't want to. I feel like it's just like woman on woman crime, you know? But anyways, let's just jump right into this. So we first start off with they're in Chiang Mai and it's beautiful. And as I suspected, Chiang Mai is a beautiful place, but it's not a place that I would go to for a romantic time with someone I'm trying to get to know or decide if this is the person I want to propose to me in 2 weeks. Garrett has on chanclas. I don't understand. Jared has on like flip-flops. Do people really like go to countries that are hot and wear flip-flops as tourists? Put some shoes on, sir. So all we see is a montage of her walking around, deciding things. The guy's just kind of walking around and like in the hotel room, like outside by a temple, you know, it's a big Buddha. And she's like, I just don't know. I know that I'm in love with Garrett, but I don't know if it's something that I see lasting forever. And I'm starting to fall in love with Jason. But Blake makes me feel right at home. I just feel so natural and normal with Blake. And I'm like, duh, well, we know that you like Blake. No more mystery in that. So her first date is with Blake. And they go to a temple where while they're on the temple grounds, they can't touch each other. And for some reason, it's a huge issue. And I guess it's because they haven't seen each other in a couple days and they really miss each other. She did the run and jump on him as she normally does. And they cross the threshold, they're holding hands. And then I guess they let him go at some point and walk up and hike up this trail. And it's just, it seems like my idea of a nightmare. You know, that's not a scenario in which I'm trying to get to know somebody. It's a scenario in which I've already know the person because I know I'm going to be huffing and puffing. And she's wearing Chucks, so I really hope that her feet don't get messed up. This whole entire scenario. And then he's got a backpack on. I'm like, Blake, what's in that backpack? Like, what? There is a crew of like 20 people behind you following you up this mountain. And then there's a crew of like 15 at the top up there. What do you have in that backpack that they couldn't be possibly carrying for you? They get there and Becca is just all out of things to say, girl, because she's like, ooh, I just really love this temple because it's so cultural and it's so old. Cultural and old? Okay. And the monk says some really cool things to them. And Blake seems to be really paying attention and like absorbing this. And Becca just kind of seems like she's just waiting for the next thing and just like thinking about what the next scene is going to be. But the monk says something really cool that I wanted to share with you guys. So he says some of the components that you need when going into a marriage is you need honesty, you need adaptation, you need patience, and you need giving. And I was like, wow, that's a really, really concise way to talk about the things that you should bring into a relationship, the things that you should understand that you're going to have in a relationship. So I thought that was really good. I am really, really getting tired of Blake's vocal fry. And for those of you who don't know what vocal fry is this. I just feel like me and Becca just really, no one else loves her as much as I do. And like, we're just on the same level. I just want him to speak on the top of his voice and stop sinking into this place where he's like, it's that sound. I hate it. I hate it, sir. So then they have their nighttime date and they're just gushing over each other. Girl, I don't even remember because honestly, I just went on a dating website and I started looking through the pictures of the guys on my dating website. I just could not pay attention to this episode. It was so boring. It's just so boring because they're just sitting down talking about the same thing over and over again. So Blake is just voicing his concerns about her being in love with another guy in the house and them having something that's more special than what he and her have, and him just being really nervous and stressed out about it. And at this point, he feels like it's really hard to even think about her being with these other guys. And she says, you know, yes, I understand when I was with Ari, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I'm over these conversations. I'm over these Ari conversations. I'm over these I'm worried conversations. Can they just have a real conversation? Can they just talk about their favorite colors? Can they just talk about what kind of food they like? Can they talk about something scary can they just talk about something that's like normal? Can they just have I just want to see a scene where they just hang out. Like maybe the producers give them like 3 options. 3 options for food, 3 options for like an outing, and then they choose and we watch them choose that together and we just kind of watch them go on this thing together, maybe give them a vlogging camera or something, but I'm tired of these set up scenarios because like they're just regurgitating and talking about the same things. It's like if she doesn't leave Ari's name out her mouth, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm tired. They're just both scared. They're both talking about their exes. Anyways, at the end of it, she ends up giving him the card to go into the room. And so they, you know, have that night together. And I hope there they got to like talk and like be normal and natural. And that's what I want to see. You know, I want to see what happened when they were like in their room without the cameras. And so next morning, Blake again is all upset because she's going to leave. And we see her. She wakes up apparently with full face on. So it's not really the next morning. I just want to see something real. And I think that's what's frustrating me with this show because it just like feels so fabricated, you know? And I don't like The Bachelorette. So like that's another, you know, nail in the coffin. And then there's this scene of him standing in the window, backlit, looking great, you know? And I was just like, thank you for that scene. It really kind of like lifted my spirits, actually. It was a great little shot. Okay, so the next person that she has her date with is Jason. So she's out with Jason and they're looking around a temple and they're having a really good time. It seems really easy. He's wearing appropriate footwear. Becca makes a comment about the temples outside, like how there's like a dragon and it's really intricately made. And she's like, oh, would you have this on our condo? You know, and he's like, yeah. And they start to talk about the future and it freaks Becca out because in that moment, she realizes that she really doesn't see a future with Jason. That like he's somebody as a good buffer, I think, between the two guys that she's in love with right now. He's just somebody to have fun with, where she does like him, but like she's not in love with him the way she is with these other guys. And she doesn't see longevity. And that's such a shame because I think Jason is like great. I think he's cute. I think he has good style. I think he's clean and appropriate, you know what I mean? Something about him. I really do like him. And I think his family's lovely. So that really does suck. So she has a moment, and this is the realest moment of the entire episode, where she's like talking to a producer and they like sit down. She puts her hair up and she's just talking about how she feels. And I'm like, thank God, a real moment where we don't have to hear the same couple of words come out of her mouth over and over again about love and this process and how she's feeling and Ari and all this other stuff. Like it was just a real moment. And I was like, thank God. And anyways, they have their nighttime date and it's by a pool. He can tell something is up and she chops him right there. He's completely blindsided. And like I wasn't, because I knew that she didn't like him. We knew that she didn't like him from the hometowns, but like it blindsided him and he was just real bummed out about it. And so he got into the car and they drove off. And the next day she has her date with Garrett, and her date with Garrett is great. You know, like they go rafting on a river, and apparently it's a Thai holiday, so everybody's out and they're like rowing on this like is it a raft? Yeah, like standing up, like rowing on like a bamboo raft with all these other people around them. It's like bumper cars but in the water with elephants about, so it's like elephants not water, you know. That is just so attractive. That's all I want to do, is just hang out in elephants not water. So by the time they get through the kerfuffle of all those rafts and bumper cars and whatnot, Becca makes some comment about if he would move to Thailand, and Garrett's like, sure, if you would come with me. And I'm like, girl, it looks hot there. Can't be there. So too hot, too humid, like jungle heat. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I'm hot watching them. Afterwards, I don't even remember what their nighttime date is, but I'm sure it's great. And she invites him back to their fantasy tent, which is this tent space that's in this like bungalow type thing. And it just looks real hot and uncomfortable, but I guess they have a good time. So good for them. I just honestly didn't take any notes after that. Like, this is just going off of memory. This episode was just so unmemorable. And she has like a breakdown when she sends Jason home, saying that she did the same thing to him that Ari did to her. And I'm like, it's not the same thing. I don't know why, unless it's just the whole blindsiding part of it. But unless I'm mistaken, Ari full on proposed to her and they were like in premarital bliss, and then he changed his mind, which is like a completely different thing and a completely different violation. So then they decide to put in a little extra twist where Jason comes back and he sees her a couple days later and gives her an opportunity to explain some more to him exactly what went wrong, and she couldn't explain it, but they had like, I guess, a nice moment. And Jason says that he's rooting for her and he's rooting for her happiness. And Becca doesn't know why she feels this way. She says it's something that she's always wanted, but this process is so much harder than she ever thought. And so, like, you know, it's just really difficult. And I'm like, girl, I get it. It's really difficult. I guess also because you kind of do have to string them along. Because my thing was like, why did she send Jason home so early? If she knew she wasn't going to be with Jason forever, they still could have spent that night together. And then when it came down to the rose ceremony, she could have just not given Jason a rose. Because they still had a rose ceremony with 2 roses there. The guys are standing there waiting for Becca to come out from wherever she is. And she gets there, there's 2 roses, but there's no Jason. So they don't understand what's going on. And I'm like, if they weren't going to take it down just to 1 rose, if she wasn't just going to choose the guy that she was going to marry down at this point, why didn't she just have Jason stay? Like, again, they don't have to have sex in the fantasy suite. They could have just chilly willed. And then in the morning, you know, she just gave the rose out to whatever. But she preemptively cut him when she didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? I get that's how she was feeling, but she didn't have to. She could have just let them do the fantasy suite and then pass out the roses as a normal. So, I mean, that's what it ended up with. Like, there was a rose ceremony and the 2 guys left standing got the 2 roses and they're now going to the Maldives. And so I hope that is a better episode, even though it seems like it's going to be a harder episode because now she has to choose between Blake and Garrett, which I really do think she should choose Blake, but we'll see. So that was the end of this episode. You guys, let me know what you thought of it down below. I don't know. I just tuned out. I literally went on Hinge and just started like texting somebody and just tuned out because it was just so boring. And I had to rewind stuff over and over again. And that's how I knew that I genuinely wasn't into this episode and it wasn't giving me anything. All right, you guys, that's it. If you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please click the link down below. Being a Patreon patron just means you can help me out. Right now, I'm using a beautiful ring light that I was able to get from my patrons, and I really do thank the patrons that I totally have. If you like what I do on this channel and you just want to give me a little tip, you want to give me a little extra, just go ahead and become a Patreon patron. You could do it one time, you could do it monthly, you can do it as little or as much as you want. Whatever you want is great. And I don't have anything to give you right now. There won't be any extra content on there, but when I get merchandise, those of you who are my Patreon patrons, I will absolutely give you merchandise for free, and I'm working on that. At least my brother is. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but I mean, we're thinking about it. All right, you guys, leave a comment down below. Let's have a kiki, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.